it's no secret that NASA always wanted to fulfill this Kennedy prophecy that we would get to the moon by the end of the decade. Well, time was running out. It was 1969, and
but you met Nixon in '68-ish, and he said, "We have a problem, Stanley. We can't get those boys up there." Tell me that story.
Right.
Okay, try again. So you met with Nixon.
There was a if you might remember, there was a launch pad accident in '67, which killed.
Tom, you're going to tell me a story. So Nixon sat me down in the Oval Office, and he says to me, "You know that boy just died on the thing. This is how I want you. When we're going to Neil, we're going to Neil. Yeah. And when we go to Neil, you're telling me through Neil. This is our new template. It's going to be helpful to you. It's going to be helpful to you. So you're telling me the story through, and it's going to come to you like that." So Nixon sat me down, and he said, "It's impossible, Stanley, to get to the moon. It's impossible." And now this boy Gus just died.
You don't want me to mention this the accident?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he said, "Stanley, that boy Gus, he died of he died a fiery death. Yes. I don't want. Do you know what that would do to my approval ratings if those boys died in space? I mean, think about it, Stanley." Right. And I thought about it, and he was right. And he said, "And those Ruskies, if we don't keep up with them, they're going to take over the world. And I'm no communist. And I know you're no communist, Stanley. I mean, it's just child's play. Just do it, okay? But bring us there."
Yeah, all right.
And then, and I said, I couldn't say no. And so I said, yeah. And he said, "You can make any damn film you want. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's about, L's fucking girls in Peru. It's like, you can do whatever you want. L's fucking girls in Peru. I don't care if that, we'll get it out there, hundreds of millions of dollars."
Okay.
Just see and just tell a story.
Elves.
It's just saying, do your shtick. Do a shtick. Get in the fact that you're writing this time, and not everything's got to be drab. It can be funny in a very subtle way. So you meet with Nixon, and what happened?
Yeah, I met with Nixon.
And let me start you off. Pat was the first person I saw. I think she was high. No, Betty Ford. That was Betty Ford. Sorry, Betty Ford was here.
Pat too. Actually.
Oh, Pat, you're right. So she was drunk off, and then I went and saw Nixon. He had just played golf. Start with details. It's so easy.
Pat was
okay. So you met Nixon. You went to the White House.
I met Pat actually first. I think she was on painkillers or something. She never said much, so it was nothing worth repeating. But when I met with Nixon, boy, that was an experience.
They just shuttled you in privately because obviously they couldn't have you. No one could know you were meeting with him.
Yeah, he had his shoes off, which, and he could smell his feet, so it's just really kind of amazing. It was not anything I could have predicted.
So it was a casual encounter. Okay, it was in the Oval Office?
Yeah, in the Oval Office, yes.
And
but it's funny, it's an Oval Office because the walls seem to be closing in anyway. But anyway, there we were, and he was, like he was, expressing how desperate he was to go to the moon.
What did he say?
Literally go to the moon.
What did he say?
But to have people think we were going to the moon, he was worried about his own perception because he just became president, and his.
So what did he say?
He said that after all there had been an accident.
You're telling it in the third person. You don't have to imitate him, but you go, "You're doing good. You're doing." I know. No, listen. I know that you're doing good. You say you have to. This is how you tell the story.
Okay.
And he said, and so I walked in, and he said, "Sorry to take off the shoes. I was just playing golf." Okay, you have to do the voice. I'm doing the voice. You don't have to do the voice if you don't want. He said, "I was just playing golf," and he sat me down, and he says to me, and that's the story template. Is that it's always what he said. Okay. And then I said to him, "You know what? It's going to be really hard to fool that." But then he said, and that's the thing. That's how we're going to do it the whole night. Neil said, and then I said to Neil, "Well, don't worry."
Neil's there too?
No, this is later.
This is later.
I'll give you a template. It's always, that's the storytelling method, okay? So we're not saying third person. He said, so Nixon says to me, and I remember, he just stared in his scotch as he said this. He said, fact, whatever it is. That's the perfect way to deliver this. Got it? Mm-hmm. It's okay. So you in the Oval Office, and what happened? And you're doing good.
Yeah, okay, so Nixon sat me down. First, he complimented me on 2001, which was nice to hear. And he said, speaking of space, going to the moon, he told me about the plan. He didn't, yeah.
So he says to me, you don't say he said anything. You say what he says, okay? That's all, Tom. I'm just giving you an
All right,
introduction.
wait, you want me to-
everything about I walked in
You
and
want
he
me to
said
say
this.
it as him, or do you want
You don't have
me
to
to-
imitate him, but you have to say. He says, Stanley, we've been
So
working
I'm
on this
not
Moon
saying
program. You're not
he's-
saying what he said. You're not reporting it. You're repeating
I'm
it.
saying it as Nixon.
You're repeating it in a storytelling way.
All right.
So I go to this whore, and she goes,
Okay,
listen,
all right,
I don't
all
do
right,
it.
all right, all
That's the mood.
All right, okay.
It's not like, so this horse said, no, it'd be like, you're like, you don't have to imitate him if you don't feel comfortable. You just say,
right.
Stanley, da-da-da, whatever he says. That's how we get the information. We're doing exposition here. That's the way we're going to sneak it in.
Okay.
So we're there, you're at this Oval Office, and what happened?
Yeah, he sat me down, complimented me in 2001, and then he said,
You're doing it right. You're doing it kind of academically. Enjoy the story. You're spinning a yarn here.
All right.
So you go in there. Did he offer you a drink? And tell me, set the stage.
yeah, and he was already drinking, so I decided to join him. I don't remember what I had, because I drink almost anything. He was drinking Dewar's, I think, which, I mean, if you're going to drink scotch, okay, but Dewar's, I don't know. Anyway, he complimented me on 2001, and then he said, speaking of space, you know about President Kennedy's prediction of going to the moon by the end of the decade.
Well, it was almost like a mandate. Like he sort of
Yes.
like threw the gauntlet down.
And he said, well, time is running out, and we want to do that, but we can't. It's impossible. We tried. We've been testing this for years. As you may have heard, there was a launch pad accident in 1967 in which